Can we grow these hydrangea indoors through the winter? So it's been about 2 months since we started this little project. Everybody wanted to know, can you grow these hydrangeas indoor through the winter? They get their cuttings rooted and then they go, hey, I don't want to risk losing these things because I live in a really cold zone. So we put these hydrangea indoors in a grow tent in that last video. We got some nice light over top of them, shining down. It's finally time to see how well this little hydrangea is doing. Now, if you'll recall, the thing I was most excited about was the light. And I'm going to show it to you in here and show you exactly what it's done. But the whole thing built around this was we're only going to use 120 watts to illuminate an entire tent and grow all kinds of plants. So, you guys have been watching me grow different things in this tent individually over the last couple months since we started the hydrangea video. And now, after we show you how this hydrangea's been doing under that light, I'm going to show you everything. We're just going to go through it and show you all the plants that we've had growing in there, show you how they're doing, and including Bert's double file viburnum that we just did. I don't know if you remember, but we put our really nice Bordeaux Negra Ramada fig down in there as well, and it was still dormant. It hadn't actually shot up any new growth yet. So we're going to see how that's doing too, and I think you guys are going to be excited. So there's the grow tent, and just to show you guys and answer the question, can we grow these hydrangeas indoors through the winter? Yes, we can. Look at that. It's not massive yet, it's just getting started, but there it is. And it is actually a deep green. I might have put a little too much fertilizer on there, but look at that beauty. It's such a beautiful little hydrangea with lots of nice new growth. I'm going to get all these guys watered again today, but you can see everything we got going on in here. Lots of different plants. Everything is growing beautifully underneath the Vipar Spectra XS1000. So there's the whole setup from top to bottom. Everything's growing beautifully in here. And once again, this light is working out fantastic. Now, you guys asked me for this like over a year ago, and I tried all their different lights. I've used fluorescence, I've used this light, I've used different companies' lights, and we finally arrived at this. And everybody wanted a cheaper, better version of a good LED light to grow all kinds of houseplants. This has been building for a while now. I think I finally found it. This is this company's cheapest light, and it only puts out 120 watts, so the energy bill is not going to be bad at all. And this thing's going to last for a good probably 10 years depending on how you use it, and it will grow all the house plants you want, and actually just about all of these are landscape plants in a 3x3 grow tent. I'm convinced it'll do a 4x4 grow tent. I just don't have that size tent here. But let's take a look at all these and see how they're doing right now. First of all, we got to get this guy going here. I mean, you see the massive leaves there, and I'm so excited to show you this. You remember when we slid this in here, if you've been watching, maybe, gosh, has it been a month or a little over a month? And I wanted to protect this Bordeaux Negra Ramada. I was a little nervous about this going to, just staying outside through the winter because it was a little grafted one. There's the graft union. Everything above that graft is the Bordeaux Negra Ramada, but that root system is Strawberry Verte, which I already have. And I'm trying to get this guy to stay alive and do well through the winter. So there you go. It's growing beautifully in this tent. Nice, beautiful, big, thick leaves. The star of the show today is this hydrangea here. Let's pull this out. Beautiful growth. You already saw this now. It is really dark green. Those leaves are just, I mean, they are almost too dark. I probably put a little bit too much fertilizer on there. It's a slow release fertilizer. It's the first time I've ever done this. Everything in here has slow release fertilizer except for those fig cuttings right there. I was just getting tired of mixing up all of these liquid fertilizers and constantly having to do that. So I thought I'm just going to throw some slow release on there. Well, I probably got a little carried away with this, but you can see, in theory, this all works. Actually, in practice, this all works. We've got a lot of nice new growth coming up right here. We've got new growth coming out down here, over on this side. And I think as this grows more and just fills in more and more, I think it's going to kind of, that fertilizer will have to go a little further to keep all of that growth green. So I think as this does better and grows bigger, it's going to just kind of mellow out a little bit on being so deep green. But it is beautiful. It's super healthy. Look at all those little roots growing right on the top of the soil there. Really neat. Now you guys, I showed you before all those little pellets in there. Not the little yellow pellets, but all of that stuff right there. That's mosquito bits to try and keep the fungus gnats down to a manageable level, which it does a pretty good job, but we still get some of them in here. There's something I want to show you guys that I'm really excited about. I don't actually, you know what? I think I might save it for another video. I think I'm going to save it for another video, but let's take a look right here. We've got, I took this Bordesat Negra Ramata cutting off of the top of this guy right here because it was a little taller, and I thought I'll try to get another one rooted out of this whole deal. I don't know if it's going to do anything. I actually stuck these pretty close to the same time. This is that Ben's Golden Riverside right there, and it's still doing good. I've put a few pictures up on Instagram there. You can see that Ben's Golden Riverside and that beautiful little growth. No roots showing through the bottom yet. I've already looked a few times, but I know that one's more than likely rooted anyway. This one I'm not too sure about. The buds are turning green. I hear it's a tougher one to root. We'll see what happens. I'm patient. If it doesn't work, that's okay. We've got Mom right over here. So we'll just kind of give that time, see what happens. It's been down there for a while, but we've got some buds right there doing real good. And then here's Bert's Double File Viburnum. Check those out. I finally put some fertilizer on those. They're just growing like crazy. I'm a little worried about these guys, only because, you know, we still got quite a bit of winter left. I mean, we're getting there, but we're still in January, and as these things take off and root more and more, are they just going to fill up this tent? I hope not, because that could be a real problem. But they've got roots all down through the bottom of the pots. This one's showing real good over here. Get down in there. Lots of roots down in there. Everywhere I look, tons and tons of roots. So these guys are very well rooted in here. This was a black Zadar, and I bought this online kind of going into winter. I didn't want to risk losing it. It still had green leaves, so I just threw it in here too because we want to keep this guy alive and healthy. It's just kind of in a state of limbo right now. It's not really putting on any new top growth. I think it's because it's got these figs it's trying to feed, and I debated pulling them off, but in the end decided to leave them just to see what happens. But we've got a little bit of new growth coming right down there, and it's doing real good and healthy. I need to water it again. I have been doing something different with the figs this time. For those of you who are interested, these two cuttings right here, and that black Zadar and this Bordesat Negra Ramata, I have been watering the heck out of them. Everybody always says, well, I get these things rooted and then I lose them. Well, last winter, I tried underwatering them, and that was a problem. And I observed these things through the summer, and they just soak up the water. I water them nonstop outside. So I thought this year I'm just going to almost overdo it, and I've been watering like crazy. I've been watering those every few days, this guy, that guy, and they're doing great. They're super healthy. So we'll see how that goes. So that's it. Just me and my little buddies here in the tent. Everything's growing real good. I guess that answers our question. Can we grow these hydrangea indoors through the winter? That's a big heck yes, we can. I mean, as you see, it's growing real healthy. It's not the biggest plant in the world, but if you're worried about losing them outdoors and you're in a really cold climate like a zone 5 or 6 and you think you might lose those little rooted cuttings, throw them in a grow tent like this with a nice light above, and you could grow these things all winter long, as well as many other landscape plants. As long as you keep them fed and watered and a nice grow light, you can just keep them cranking all winter long. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something from it. I learn something from this stuff all the time. I know it's winter time right now. You know, it's just, gosh, it's so cold and not real nice outside, but we're headed to spring. I'm getting excited about that. I'm sure you guys are getting excited about that. I've got some different plans this summer. We'll see what happens. You never know what's going to happen on this channel, but some neat things on the horizon. So stay tuned. Don't check out for too long. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.